Hey guys, welcome back. Today will be our second phone call going undercover with the Houston organizer of refusefascism.org. I won't take up a lot of your time for this intro. I just wanted to give a shout out to my sponsors. So first and foremost, I'd like to give a shout out to our founding forefathers who created our second sponsor, the First Amendment, free speech. Without that, none of this would be possible. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to the state of Texas for being a one-party consent state. And of course the Declaration of Independence, which you will see probably sitting right behind me during the whole video. This was a conversation that I delved a little bit deeper into the details of how they run the organization. I'm trying to get more and more, that way it's better understood how this isn't so much a legit organization. It's more so just a group of people complaining that their candidate didn't win. I won't take up any more time. Let's get into it. So, what's going on, Lee? What's the update? Give me the good news.
No, I'm trying to find out more what's going on with you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a lot of the stuff we're doing in Houston, we're just putting on the Facebook page. So we have a number of upcoming events that we're doing.
Yeah. So just a brief update. I got the group together. It was about 12 or 13. I didn't have anybody sign in, but for the first meeting, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know it was going to go that well. So I had a bunch of questions that they asked that I wasn't sure how to answer. So I let them know that I would get back to them again this week. We're going to have another meeting on Wednesday. We're going to shoot for about 7:30, and I'll shoot you another email after we get out of that just to keep you updated on that one too. But it should be a bigger outcome this next meeting. So, we talked about a lot of what the call to action showed in the video, and then I just kind of elaborated on what you and I talked about and passed the word on to them. I wanted to ask you though, did you hear about that Donald Trump threat to shut down the government recently?
Yes, he did.
That's I just read that article this morning right after I texted you.
Yes, that's what he did today.
That's insane. That's wild.
Because he wants the wall. No, but see, if you look at the caller, if you look at how fascism has developed, it targets a particular group of people as undesirable. And in this country, who they're targeting are the immigrants. So that has been like the front of, or you can call it a battering ram of how they've both organized and mobilized their base of people. And it's been like his rallying cry. So yes, he did do that. He said he will shut down the government if he doesn't get the wall.
I was shocked when I read that. I had no idea. I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're both just speechless, huh?
Well, I'm just saying that they're going full speed ahead here. I mean, he also announced today that he's going to be speaking 6 days a week, campaigning for people for the November elections. And if you look at all his campaign rallies, they've been more like Nazi rallies where he's mobilizing a section of people in this country to engage in violence and threats. So it has a double meaning, but he's going to go on the offensive with mobilizing his base.
Do you think
that was also what he announced today?
Oh, okay. Wow. We had a discussion at our last meeting, and a woman brought up a question. She was asking if we think that Donald Trump is looking at taking away the First Amendment of free speech. And I don't know if I couldn't tell if he's for free speech or against it, but I didn't know if maybe you guys had an opinion on that. That way I could address that to her and see what she thought about that.
Yeah, well, one thing is, I think I sent you the link to the indictment panels that we are using.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
We have these 7-foot panels that, anyway, one of them is on civil liberties. And the short answer is yes. He is eliminating the right, he's redefining the right to free speech, which does not include dissent of people like us. He's using the right of free speech to defend the Christian fundamentalists. Because a lot of the laws that have been passed recently and what was passed in the Supreme Court, both around women's right to abortion as well. I mean, doing away with women's right to abortion as well as the Colorado cake thing. Remember when the gay couple wanted the baker to make a cake?
Oh, yeah.
So in those circumstances, when it's protecting the right, they are arguing freedom of speech. But for everybody else, they are not. And in fact, there are several states that have passed legislation to, like North Dakota, basically, we have legislation that says if people were blocking the street in a protest, like they did at the Dakota Access Pipeline, and if somebody came and ran them over and killed them, it would not be a crime.
Oh, wow. Holy guacamole.
No, really. And then they have one in Arizona that says that if you had organized a demonstration and if the government claims that someone committed an illegal act, proven or unproven, that the people who organized the protest could have their property seized, their home, their bank accounts, cars, etc.
Really? See, I didn't know anything about that.
These are types of legislations that are on the book on state levels. You have the one in Louisiana that says if you block the freeway, like Black Lives Matter has, to call attention to police brutality, that it would now be a felony. So as far as doing away with the First Amendment, yes, and that's the short answer. But if you look at the indictment panel, it actually lists the facts of what has already been done and what they say they're going to do next. So
Okay. Well, I had another good question from one of the guys that I've grown up with. He's a Democrat. He's been a Democrat, I want to say, since he was born, if that's possible. Yeah. But he was saying that we should reach out, and I wanted to run this by you to see what you thought about it. He was saying that we should reach out to maybe a DNC in the area. If the DNC was against Donald Trump since before Refuse Fascism was started, then do you think that they would be a good branch of help to maybe get further down the line quicker, or do you think the DNC is unreachable?
If I was your friend, I would tell them give it a shot. But basically, if you look at the call, we talk about why we say the Democrats are not the answer, is because the Democrats have been conciliating with the fascists. If you look at DACA, for example, the deal that the leading members of the Democratic Party made with Donald Trump was that they would agree to save DACA if but they would agree also to fund the wall. They also agreed that they would agree to ramping up ICE in the neighborhoods and picking up so-called undocumented people. And the position of groups like United We Dream has been that they are not going to save themselves at the expense of their families. It's a very good position, but that's not a position that the Democrats have held.
Okay.
But I think, it would be a good learning experience, or even see, because, I'm talking about the top levels of the Democratic Party. Maybe on state level it's different. We should find out. I think that people should do these things and to see, in Houston, they really try to promote, don't worry, we're going to take care of it. And we kept saying, and we're in this battle. There's two trends in Houston, around just leave it all in the hands of the politicians, and we're saying, no, this needs to be in the hands of the people. And
yes.
if the politicians want to come along with us, that's great, but we're not waiting for you. We've seen what you've done,
Yeah, it's been a little too late. I know exactly what you mean.
They're saying that they can work with them. We're saying that they need to be driven out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any working with them. Yeah, I don't think there's any working with Hitler 2.0. That's what we've been calling him in our meetings. We dropped the Trump and just named him Donald Hitler 2.0.
That's great. But anyway, that's just I'm just you see those people, but just be aware that that has been our experience. And like I said, at the state level, maybe it's different because the Democrats in Texas, they've been competing against the Texas Fascist Party for the longest time. The Texas Republican Party has had a fascist program, for the last 15 years.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever read their platform.
I haven't. I mean, I've heard just from what my Republican friends have pushed, but I haven't gotten too deep into it just because it would be like looking into the Holocaust deeper than what I know. It would just, I guess, depress me or make me a little sadder. I guess. Make me wish that we got Refuse Fascism over here faster.
Yeah, no, but they're very scary. I read their platform like 10 years ago. You know, like under Bush, you should have seen their platform. It's probably worse now.
Oh yeah.
So they are. They're you know, we're ahead of the pack. But yeah, so the Democrats in Texas maybe would be a little bit more progressive. I don't know. I mean, the ones in Houston aren't. The ones in Houston are very much, you know, into compromise and things like that, and our position has been there is no compromising with fascism. You cannot vote it out. It has to be driven out by people.
Yeah.
They tend to distance themselves from us, but that's in Houston, so I don't know what it's like over there.
Well, let me ask you this. I know I saw that email where you sent me the link to become a, I forget the word for it, but it was basically yes, that's the word. Thank you, Lee. I was looking at that. I wanted to ask you if there was a link that I could forward to people here that would be, I guess, more intimately custom to our chapter. That way we can start building up funds here and then relay the funds to you guys. Is that something that you have access to, or will I need to make that on my own?
No, you need to make it on your own, because we only, the links we have, because when people donate online, they donate to the national office, and then the national office, you know, can put money wherever. But if you just specifically want to raise money for West Texas, you know, like, I guess you could do a GoFundMe page. But in Houston and in Austin, we just get cash donations. I mean, that's what we do.
Okay.
We don't have an app or anything like that.
Okay. A GoFundMe, I guess, is a good way to go because that everybody can reach it that way. Everybody's got the internet nowadays.
But I don't know. What are you guys trying to? What are your goals, or what do you think what is it you're trying to fund?
Well, we want to get money together. That way, we can start sending you guys money to start getting some of the materials, like the Trump and Pence regime must go signs. Simple things like that first. That way, whenever we hit the streets, it's not 50 people with 2 signs. It's 50 people with 60 signs or something. We'd like to get all of our materials together before our first event. That way it looks official and it doesn't look like a ragtag group of beginners. Because here, if we do it wrong the first time, then members may not show up to the next one, or people may not take us seriously for our events. So we want to make it as strong as possible for our first event, and then just get stronger and stronger every time we do another one.
That makes sense. Do you guys have cheap printers over there?
Cheap printers? Yeah, I mean, I have a printer at my office, and then I have a printer here at home.
No. Like that makes, because these posters, the signs that you're talking about.
Oh.
On the website, you can print your own signs.
Oh, okay. I saw the ones that you guys offered on there, but I didn't see anything about printing my own. I'll have to go back over it again and look back through it.
Yeah, because we print our own signs. See, we print our own signs. We print our own flyers. The only things we get from the national office are like those indictment panels, and the T-shirts and the stickers, because they print them in bulk, so it's cheaper.
Okay.
But all the other, like the paper kind of materials, we print our own. We just had to look for the cheapest printer in Houston.
Okay, got you. And when you said you communicate with the national office, is it somebody in your chapter that communicates with them, or is it you directly?
No, I communicate with, because I'm part of the core in Houston, so I communicate with them.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know all that much, Lee. I'm honored that you're taking the time.
It's on every, info@refusefascism.org. Anyway, it's the same email and the same phone number I called that's on the website.
Okay, well then I'm very flattered that you're taking the time to speak with me, Lee. Thank you.
No, you should email them if you have any questions. And that indictment panel one I sent to you because I didn't know. To me, what you guys should do is, you should work at your goals and your pace in the way in which, you can, and build, not try for something extravagant, because you do want to keep growing. You don't want to make something, like you don't want to do something like they do at the LA chapter where they block the, the major freeway.
Yeah.
which was awesome.
Yeah.
Start with something, and try to build from there. But the main thing is, that's why we kept asking the questions about what they thought about the call to action, because in the call to action itself, it has a lot of what distinguishes Refuse Fascism in terms of our goals. And, especially right now, what we're trying to do across the country is to build up an organized strength across the country where it would be possible for us to launch a day after day, night after night, sustained protest to get to millions as soon as possible. But we don't have the strength right now nationally to do that, so that's where our efforts are. And that's where things like what they did in Philadelphia, did you see that on the website?
No. I'll have to go back and look at that. You said in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I'll send you the link. But no, what they did was the kinds of things that people that, we want to work towards getting to. Like, we haven't done something like that in Houston. We haven't quite had the opportunity or, ability to do that. But, they had a very small number of people, and they were able to, they protested Mike Pence when Mike Pence came to visit. And they did it in a dramatic way that brought hundreds of people out with them. They dressed as handmaids. I don't know if you watched the TV show Handmaid's Tale.
No, I really don't watch that much TV. I've got too many after school activities with these boys.
No, but this one is sort of popular and sort of interesting because it's based on it was done, the book was written in the 80s by Margaret Atwood about America turning into a theocracy. That it was overthrown and became a theocracy, and that there had been nuclear war, so a lot of the sort of elite white people who are now in charge were sterile and you couldn't have children. So they basically enslaved other women and forced them to have children for them.
Oh, wow.
As well as doing away with civil liberties, running the entire country based on a literal interpretation of the Bible. And so that book was written in the 80s, and it's now a TV series on Hulu.
Okay.
And I think it's very helpful because actually in America, the way this fascism is going to come down is more similar to that.
Okay.
Because Mike Pence has been and is still the head of a very large, well-funded, literalist, dominionist Christian fascism.
Gotcha.
And they do want the laws to be based on a literal interpretation of the Bible.
Okay, now as far as Christianity goes, does Refuse Fascism take a stance on any kind of certain religion, or is it just non-denominational? Everybody's welcome.
It's everybody's welcome.
Okay.
Everybody's welcome, and everybody needs to also recognize that you have a section of Christianity that's fundamentalist, like you have a section of every religion that's fundamentalist, that are very harmful to people. And like a lot of the progressive clergy have spoken out against, and they call them dominionists or literalists, or they use different words. But those people actually are trying to remake the laws and everything in this country.
Okay.
And this is where Trump and Pence, that's their sort of coming together. I mean, a lot of, that movement, the Christian fascist movement, has been growing since the late 70s in this country. People used to make fun of them, like Jerry Falwell and the Moral Majority. But now they're in government. Bush put a lot of them in government.
Yeah.
They're at the heads of the military.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they replaced, it was an interesting story that in the time of Bush, it used to be that the officers would have like their little officers club, and they would hang out and chat and all that kind of stuff. Well, under Bush, when he replaced the leadership and stuff, now they have Bible study instead of officer course.
Oh, wow.
And these are not just regular Christians. These are people who if you look at the present generation of their children, they've been taught and they believe that this is the end times. That's why for them, environmental disaster and wars is not a problem, because they think that what they're doing right now with all of this is preparing for the rapture. I mean, that's where they're coming from. And it's very dangerous because they're willing to commit violence.
Oh, for the rapture.
So, and there's been a lot written because one of the strongest bases of this movement has been in Texas.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That
You
makes
know,
sense. Yeah.
And you look at people like Dan Patrick, I'm sorry, you look at some of these people at the heads of the Texas government, and they very clearly propagate this same message. And these are all the foot soldiers that the Trump-Pence regime are mobilizing and are organizing to unleash and to protect them. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
sort of like, this is why it's fascism and not just right wing. They're actually mobilizing a mass movement of the right to maintain power and to carry out their agenda.
Yeah, it's scary.
So,
It's scary.
but that's yeah, it is. It's very scary, and this is where if you go to the Texas Refuse Fascism Facebook page, we also are promoting a protest in Austin on August the 18th. August the 18th, the right-wing, outright fascists, all these people are going to be rallying in Austin. It's
Okay.
the week after the Unite the Right national rally in D.C.
Week after it?
And so,
You said the week after?
Yeah, on August the 11th, the fascists are going to rally, like they did in Charlottesville last year.
Oh, okay, with the tiki torches?
Yeah, they're going to be in D.C. They got a permit to rally on the National Mall.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this time they're going to D.C. and not Charlottesville turned on their permit. So
Oh, okay.
1 week later, different groups, different right-wing groups are trying to, they're going to build off of that and rally in other states.
Okay. Huh, I wonder...
One of them is Texas, and they will be in Austin. So there's the Austin resistance has called for a larger counter-protest. They want to outnumber the fascists, which will be several hundred.
Good, good. I'm actually since you mentioned that,
I'm just saying, so Refuse Fascism in Houston is also putting out a call for people to go to Austin on the 18th. This is just for, but I'm just saying, this is the kind of thing that's going on right now. And
Yeah.
that's all on our Facebook page. We have that. We have some of our events as well. And we're going to be, so all this stuff is on the Facebook. So the more people you can drive to that page, and if you guys plan an event, and you make a Facebook event page, or somebody from your group does, then we'll post it.
Awesome.
So that we can put on the Texas events, and we can just share it on the page.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. I might even try to get a few members of this chapter to go down there on August 18th with me. But I'll talk to them on Wednesday during the meeting, and then, like I said, I'll brief you after with an email, and then let me know what you think.
Yeah. Okay. So was the message of the call I'm just curious what people thought about what we're saying. I mean, we're making very a bold analysis and a solution that most people don't automatically agree with.
Yeah, yeah. The way I explained it to them, I broke it down really simple. And then the call to action, they understood what we were going for. But the people that I was speaking to were a little bit more extreme, I guess you would say. So when I told them that the people showed up in Houston with guns and surrounded everybody, and it was intimidating, the response that I got from my group was, well, we have guns too, so if that happens, we're not worried about it. So I've got people that are very aggressive, is a good word to say, and extreme. So I've kind of had to tell them, Antifa's not going to be a part of us. Antifa might or might not be there, but we're going to have to rely on ourselves for safety. And they're really eager to get it off the ground, but again, we want to get it just right. And then I think our chapters, your chapter and my chapter, might differ just because, like I said, my group members are looking to open carry at our organizations and our meetings, just to show that we won't be intimidated by that, and that yes, we have the same power that you fascists have, except we're doing it for the righteous reasons.
Well, here's a problem, though. Now, I'll tell you what, the reason why we don't do that is because one is that the reason why the fascists get away with it is because they have the support of the government. That's one thing.
Oh.
And we need to realize there's no even playing field here. So that's one thing. The second thing is that we will not be provoked into violence because we know we're going to lose. And the reason is because our goal is to mobilize millions of people. That's our strength in getting people, to invoke, because we've seen, I've seen in Austin it happened, like when they've had these protests against the fascists on numerous occasions over the years, and when, they're armed on both sides, and there's something that jumps off, the people they end up arresting are the kind of protesters.
What?
They don't never listen to fascists. And this is something to remember, is because remember, the fascists are supported by the government.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's smart. That's
you have
smart.
to be smart. You have a gut, the knee-jerk reactions. Oh well, they got them. No, that's not something that's going to enable us to win over the hearts and minds and participation of all these other people. Basically, what people will say, and they have said this in the past, is, well, those are just extreme groups. We're just going to stay away from both of them.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yes, I see.
It doesn't win it. It actually isolates people. It isolates both. They just fight both sides off.
Yeah, that's smart. See, I didn't even think about that.
Accumulates. It may feel good at the moment, but it really, at the end, is not helpful at all. So that's why we don't do that. We're going to rely on people, and we're going to call people out to join us, but we're not going to get trapped in that kind of a situation.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll note that down.
They were yelling at us, and they were doing stuff. We just basically ignored them. Now, if they entered our space, we physically removed them, and that was in Austin, by the way. It wasn't in Houston.
Oh, okay.
You're describing. I mean, it happened in Houston in the summer of last year, but that was much smaller. This big thing happened in Austin. So there is a thing of, they're trying to, they would like, and this is where Trump will use. That's why if you listen to his words, and he says, in Charlottesville, they would find people on both sides. And he blamed the violence on Antifa and the people who are defending themselves, and also the fascists. They're trying to create a category to the public, and we do not need to fall into that trap, because then we're not going to actually be able to build this movement. They will crush us.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I'll definitely bring that up in the meeting, and I'll tell them to pump the brakes and relax a little bit on that look at it.
Well, it's more they need to understand the logic of how this is working. Like, you can get set up in different situations. I mean, just in the long, if you just step back and look at a large picture of how is the media, how are people viewing what they see.
Okay.
I would just more ask a question.
Okay.
In that sense, for people, because really the mission of Refuse Fascism is relying on people.
Okay. So if we get a reporter type like Alex Jones or somebody like that shows up to ours, we just tell everybody not to talk to him and ignore him.
Yeah. I had Alex Jones in our face. Yes, we tell everybody not to talk to him because it's going to be misused. And, if you go and watch InfoWars, you can see how they misuse when people are killed.
Oh, yeah.
In their video. But we also, if they come in our face, we just make them leave. I mean, we just tell them they're not welcome. And we don't get involved in conversations with them because it's all being taped.
And they just come right in your face in front of everybody, right?
They come right in your face with their camera. So we usually have signs, and we just block them.
Oh wow, that's pretty intimidating, scary. Jeez. Okay, well, we're ready for it, Lee, and all this news and information. I should have numbers and a date by this next Wednesday, and then I'll have a member count. That way, you know how strong we are. I'm going to try to get more, I'm trying to get more details in stone as far as the date, the location, and one of my guys is supposed to be working on that tomorrow and Tuesday afternoon, so Wednesday he'll have something for me. So Wednesday's email that I send you, it should be a lot more information and a lot more, ready to go.
Well, what are you guys thinking of doing, though? What kind of thing? Just
well, we want to...
I don't know anything much about the layout of Odessa.
Yeah, there's we usually have, around here there's not a lot of things to do, so if there's an event going on, or the community's getting together for some kind of celebration or something, then that means both cities, Midland and Odessa, are going to be participating, and there's probably going to be likely over 50,000 people. I mean, it's like being in a small town and there's nothing to do, and then all of a sudden a movie theater opens up. That movie theater is going to be packed for months. So we're trying to organize it on a day that the community has something coming up. So we have a Permian Basin, West Texas blowout coming out in about a month. And what that is everybody just gets together in the town, businesses shut down, they fence off everything downtown area, and then you pay an admission to get in. So we were thinking about putting a portion of the chapter outside of the fence right in front of the entrance with signs and people having a conversation about, educating what's going on with the Trump and the Pence regime. And then once they get inside, we'll have another contact if they want to continue the conversation inside. And once they get in, there's going to be an opportunity for them to donate to us. So we'll have a tent, and we'll have somebody working a cash register, and we'll be talking to people and basically just asking if you don't feel safe about Trump and Pence, then spare some change and help us get this off the ground. But of course, it's still in the ideas phase. We're trying to get it more solidified later on, but by Wednesday I should have a better grasp on what's going to happen.
Oh, that's great. Now, one thing you might want to do then, when is that? August what?
I think that's going to be in a month. Today is August. What's today's date? Today's July 29th. I think it happens August 29th, but I'm not sure because I've never been to that West Texas blowout. It's just not my thing. I don't like the music, but I'm willing to wear headphones and be out there just to support Refuse Fascism.
What kind of music do they play?
It's more so against the music. I just don't know what they're saying. So, and then they also have independent rock bands that come from around the area. And I'm a classic guy, Leah. I like listening to like 80s music, the good old days. So the 70s music, like Dion and the Belmonts, Johnny Cash, that kind of stuff. That's my style.
Oh my God, how old are you? My God.
I'm 30, but I grew up with my parents listening to that music all the time, and I just stuck with it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was trying to say.
Oh man. So yeah, that's why I've managed to avoid it that long for that reason.
Okay, fine. That's no problem. But the reason I asked is because one thing about when we've gone like to festivals, like we've had a booth at the Warp Tour.
Oh, okay.
What the Warp Tour is?
Yeah, I know what that is. The Vans Warp Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a booth at the Warp Tour every year in Houston and Austin because the organizers are very supportive. So one thing that goes really well there, and we raise a lot of money, are stickers. So that's why I was asking you. That's one thing you may.
Okay, that's a good idea. I'm writing all this down.
You do order from national office, unless you guys know someone who makes stickers there. But all these the files for printing any of this stuff is on the website. I will send it to you. But we just ordered some stickers. They're orange, so they really stand out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'll catch eyes right there. That's perfect.
That's one thing they give money for. It's like you just have a roll of stickers and you have a jar next to people just throw money in there because they want stickers.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah.
write them and share them and, anyway. So that's
Genius. Okay. All right. Well, I wish.
That's one thing that you may not be able to print unless somewhere in that area people do things like that.
Okay.
Stickers. I just don't know.
I'll ask around and find out. I'm sure we have something. And my town's not small enough to where we won't have a sticker printing business, so I'll find somebody. But Leah, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and I'll get all the information as much as I can on Wednesday, and I'll send you an extensive email about what we have planned. And shoot, I really appreciate you taking the call today, just so we could, update each other about it all.
Yeah, and I was wondering, you ever did anything like this before?
I did this thing back in the day called the Real Change Movement here in Odessa. I was interviewed by the local radio station, and I had a pretty strong following within about an hour or two. The Facebook page got up to over, I think, 500, 600 likes. But this was about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. So the problem was I was a young guy. I was 27, 26 back then, and you know, when you're dealing with a lot of the stuff that's going on in the area, and you've got a 26-year-old telling you what's best, you know, it was hard for me to start it back then. But now that I've gotten, you know, the right people behind me and the right team, I think it'd be a lot easier this go around.
Okay, I was just wondering. You seem because you do sound like you have some experience. That's all.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
So that's good.
Okay. Well, again, I appreciate it, Lee. I don't know if I could do this without you, so I appreciate the time you're taking.
No, we're all going to work together on this. Believe me, we have to. And we're all going to learn from each other. But I will send you some of these links. Like the Philly link, I think you'll find interesting, just because you know you want some. You know, what we really do want is some actions that really do speak to a lot of people in a very bold way.
Okay.
I mean, not to start, but to, you know, just to look at the difference it made when what they did in Philadelphia, I think is helpful.
Okay. Well, that'd be great. Any links that you can send me, I'll do my homework and I'll check it out. I'm trying to do anything I can to learn, so I appreciate everything you're doing, Leah.
Hopefully, we'll see you in Austin if you guys are gonna come on.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll definitely plan it and try to get my team to go with me. And like I said, I'll update you Wednesday, and hopefully, I've got a bunch of people coming with me. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay. Well, I gotta take care of this baby. He looks like he's about to start screaming, Lee. But I'll shoot you an email here in a little bit.
Oh no. Okay. All right.
But I'll shoot you an email, and then I'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Is that okay?
Okay. Cool.
All right. Thanks, Lee. You have a great rest of your weekend.
You too. Thanks.
Bye. All right, there you have it. That was the second call with the Houston organizer for refusefascism.org. I just found out today that she is a bigwig, I guess you could say, at the top of the tree for Refuse Fascism. So, hey, that's great news. Just means that we'll get even further, even faster. I appreciate you watching, taking the time. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you thought. All that good stuff. This won't be the last conversation. I'll have plenty more. Again, thanks for watching, guys.